When we hit 20,000 subscribers, we'll give away a free NFL jersey of your choice. So subscribe now. TYT Sports, talking with Larry Beal once again on the 49ers. Larry, how are you?
You did not expect that we would be having this conversation this week, did you now?
I did.
Did you?
No, I didn't. I picked the Saints and I picked the Giants last week in the NFC. I did not expect us to talk, but I'm glad we are talking once again.
Well, the 49ers surprised a lot of people, and who would have thought Alex Smith with a couple of brilliant touchdowns in the final few minutes against the Saints.
I wanted to ask you two questions about that. Firstly, do you consider that a ballsy call to run a naked bootleg with Alex Smith running down the left sideline and Joe Staley getting in front of him? Was that a ballsy call?
Well, I think it was, definitely for a couple of reasons. But Alex Smith is actually a pretty good athlete. People kind of remember when he was at Utah, they ran that veer option thing, so he can run. I mean, he's been banged up throughout the years, but he can move. It's not like he's he's not Joe Flacco, sitting back there. He's a pretty good athlete. But what people forget is that I think it was, 4th and 3, and then the Niners had a penalty that pushed him back. So then they had to go 8 yards. It was like either 4th and 7 or 4th and 8. So they had to change the play call, and it was a brilliant call. And Alex read the defense correctly, and I think he had an option on which way to go, so he was going to run the sweep either right or left, depending on the way the Giants lined up, because they were expecting blitz pressure. And once he hit the corner, how about Joe Staley? Joe Staley showing some pretty good athleticism down the sidelines. That was an amazing call, and the call with seconds left to hit Vernon Davis on a laser of a throw. Was a brilliant call. But it was actually done by their quarterback's coach. Jeep Christ was the guy who noted that Roman Harper liked in past games, because he used to coach with Carolina, a division opponent, saw that Harper would often stand on the goal line in those situations, and his first 2 steps were often back. So if Vernon could get to the goal line, he would beat him to the spot. That's superior coaching.
That's excellent coaching and excellent scouting. Of course, Joe Staley from the Joe Show that I've been able to witness on YouTube. Have you seen any of those?
I haven't seen that. I've seen Joe singing with Vernon Davis.
Never mind, I'll find someone like you.
And they were singing an Adele song, and I'll just say I don't think an American Idol invitation is. I don't think Adele has much to worry about. Let me put it that way. I mean, it's actually Joe is better than Vernon. Vernon really he goes all out, but not really there.
Could we get you to sing some Adele right now?
No, I'm bad. Yeah, I'm really bad. I know.
Well, it can't get worse than Vernon Davis.
It's he might. He might actually. He might be better than me, which is really. It's really sad, but
let's get down to it, Larry.
Yeah.
What's the status on Delanie Walker?
His status is coming back from a broken jaw. He wants to play, still has to get medical clearance. He's back practicing, and it would give the Niners a great weapon. He actually had a pretty good game against the Giants when they met back in November. That was a victory by the 49ers, 27-20, and Walker, I think, had 6 catches in that game, also a recovery on special teams. So he's another weapon. Again, you're talking about a Niners team that does not have great wide receivers. So if you can get Vernon Davis and Delanie Walker isolated on some linebackers, Jim Harbaugh can find a way to get those guys open.
Now, Ted Ginn Jr., I mean, if he first I want to get the injury update.
Yeah, I think he's no-go. I do not think he's going to play.
Who's the number 3 then?
Well, Kyle Williams, theoretically, but I mean, that's where Delanie Walker comes in. That's where I think Jim Harbaugh loves 2 tight end sets. So you might not see. You're not going to see the Niners, in 3 wide, 4, because they don't have guys.
Right.
They don't have enough guys, or at least experienced guys.
Vernon Davis, I mean, obviously he made that huge catch. You just told me all about it, and very detailed as well. Do you think that he will be seen in man-to-man coverage? Can they even afford to play Vernon Davis like that?
I think that would be a mistake. I think we've seen the Saints prove that was kind of a bad strategic move, especially late in the game, because he's a great combination of size and speed. I mean, in Vernon Davis, when he's done playing football, could be a professional bodybuilder. I mean, the guy is just the Incredible Hulk, but a fast Hulk. And so he presents a real matchup problem for a lot of teams. So I think, and I think the Giants, you'd have to check, but I think they're more comfortable playing a lot of zone. So you don't want to have Vernon Davis running free against a linebacker. That's recipe for death.
What would you say, Larry, is the biggest differences from when they played this past year to Sunday, January 22nd?
Well, I think we're going to see another close game. I would be surprised if it was anything more than a field goal one way or the other. I mean, I'm saying, like Niners 24-21. I think the interesting comparison between the two teams is the fact that if you think about traditional Giants football under Tom Coughlin, you're talking about Big Blue, you're talking about teams that love to pound the ball, and contrasting that with the Niners throughout the years, they've been a finesse team with superior wide receivers. Well, look at what we have right now. The Giants don't run the ball very effectively. They're the team that wants to wing it everywhere with Eli, and the 49ers are the team that wants to punch you in the mouth and run the ball down your throat. It's total role reversal from what we think of with these classic Niner-Giants matchups of years past. I think that's really the key. Can the Niners run effectively with Frank Gore, and can the Niners get enough pass rush on Eli Manning to disrupt their passing game?
However, when they did meet in November, the Giants did not have Ahmad Bradshaw, and it seems like they are emphasizing him obviously a lot more with Brandon Jacobs. So how much more pressure does that put on the 49ers and their defense to stop the thunder and lightning combination right there?
Yeah, I don't think it's thunder and lightning like it used to be. And I think I'll be stunned if the Giants can run the ball. Because
really?
I'll be stunned. Dante Whitner will knock you out, brother. I mean, he and Deshaun Goldson are they're crushing people. I mean, it's good luck. Good luck. I just don't see anybody running the ball on them at all. Period. And I think the only chance the Giants have is going to be to throw the ball down the field. That's where they have, their best players. Let's face it. I mean, Victor Cruz, little dude, he could just beat you down the field. And, with Manningham and some of their other weapons, I think that's their recipe for success, even though it kind of goes against what we think of when we think of a Tom Coughlin football team.
Do you foresee then the Niners playing zone in order to try and, give up the underneath throws, but also limit the big play ability of Victor Cruz?
Yeah, totally. And then crush you when you catch the ball. I think that's I mean, they're going to mix it up. The thing about Eli, and I think we've seen this. The whole thing about you can't spell elite without ELI. Is that he's too good to just play one style straight up the whole way through. You have to mix and match, and you can't just play, okay, we're going to play, a simple zone and we're going to win. They're going to have to mix up their pressures. It'll be interesting to see, can they get pressure with Justin Smith and Aldon Smith without having to blitz? If they can, then the Giants will be in trouble. If they can't, then the 49ers will, the challenge will be, all right, how are we covering all these guys deep down the field?
You think they'll double team Justin Smith?
I would. I would try. I mean, did you see what he did on that one play?
Yeah, he played phenomenal. He played a phenomenal game, and he bull rushed and grabbed Drew Brees. Technically, it looked like a horse collar, but there's no horse collar penalty while they're in the pocket. So it was an unbelievable play.
Have you ever seen anybody do that? I mean, he's physically engaged with like a 300-pound tackle and just throws. I mean, he's just reaching right through the guy like he's not even there and takes them both down. I mean, everybody talks about Marshawn Lynch in beast mode. Is there a better beast mode play than that?
Probably
Justin
not.
Smith is an animal.
He played great. He played phenomenal. And I mean, I think it was either you or Michael Schur who told me, he is the captain of the defense. I believe he said that.
Yeah, and Harbaugh has said he's like their MVP of the year. I mean, with all due respect to Alex Smith and other players, and the Niners have had a bunch of guys stand up, especially on defense, and Patrick Willis is tremendous, but Justin Smith is just unblockable at times. And So I think there's a lot of great matchups in the game. The Giants' defensive line is loaded with pass rushers, and we've seen the Niners struggle with that in the past, when they get a lot of pressure. So a lot of great matchups. It should be a fun game. It'll be a low-scoring game. I don't think, I'd be stunned if we saw another late-game offensive explosion between these two teams. It was 27-20 last time they played, so they put up some points. But, again, weather's going to be a factor. You're going to have rain to deal with, at least probably late in the game. So that's another thing. Who can run the ball, and can you throw in adverse conditions?
A lot of people have this debate with their friends, their colleagues, around the water coolers in offices. Do you think that Eli is better than Peyton? Has he surpassed Peyton? What's your take on that?
I don't know. You should probably ask Rob Lowe. He'll tweet about it. I don't know. If you had to pick one of the two brothers to win it, well, actually, you might take Archie if you could take any Manning, going back enough years. But I think, Peyton Manning is still a top 5 quarterback in the league. Maybe they're neck and neck, but I'd still have to go. It'd be hard to take anybody over Peyton Manning.
No pun intended by the neck and neck.
No, that was unintentional.
Mm-hmm. The Giants pass rush. I mean, we talked about how the Saints blitz from every single angle, and Greg Williams loved to blitz. And you and I talked about, do they keep Frank Gore in the backfield to block? Do they do it again?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, Frank Gore is great in pass protection. That's why, there's some people that want to see more Kendall Hunter. You don't want to put a rookie in key situations when you think you're going to get heavy pressure and get your quarterback killed, and then you're playing Colin Kaepernick, who hasn't taken a snap in forever, and rookie quarterback. That's Frank Gore's value. People talk about his rushing yards. He is a serious dude in the backfield in pass protection, and does not miss assignments. That's one of those things that gets routinely overlooked by fans. It's so important to coaches, though.
I mean, getting back to Kendall Hunter, if you leave Frank Gore in the backfield, can you line him up in the slot? Can you have him as like a wide receiver?
They haven't, but you might have just given Jim Harbaugh another idea on how to make up for a wide receiving core that is lacking a bit. Speaking of which, how do you think Braylon Edwards feels right about now?
Who cares?
Who cares? But I mean, what a weapon! If he could have done anything, I mean, look at the opportunities he would have in these kinds of games on huge stages for a guy that's a free agent to be. I mean, and what a weapon he could have potentially been, but it didn't work out. I'm not sure that we haven't seen Kendall Hunter catch the ball. So I don't know if that's within his skill set, and do you want to try to trot that out in a championship game just to find out?
Yeah, probably not. You probably wouldn't want to experiment in a playoff game, but he has 16 catches. He has 195 yards. He's been used very, very sporadically in the offense. It seems like he hasn't been used that much as a receiver at all. So I say, why not? I mean, even if you pull another linebacker over, even if you pull Kiwanuka or one of them to guard him, I say, why not?
Well, most coaches, football coaches, are pretty conservative types. So Harbaugh, hey, he's thrown the ball to Isaac Sopoanga and Joe Staley this season. So clearly he's willing to roll the dice. So it'll be interesting to see if they actually do that, because I imagine you'll see a few things that you go, wow, we never expected that. And we'll see what, they save it for key situations late in the game, just like that bootleg and just like the Vernon post that we saw for the game-winning touchdown.
Do you have any other Hawaiian names that you want to correct me or any other national broadcasters on this week?
No, I think I'm going to save that for next season. A lot of my University of Hawaii guys are a little under the radar at this time of the year. Unfortunately, we don't have a lot of Hawaii guys playing, but Sopoanga will have to live with for now. And I got to work up a whole list of guys. Devon Bess is another, the Miami receiver.
Yeah.
Not a Polynesian name, but one of my favorites and a good guy. So I'll throw him out there. We don't have a lot of guys playing right now.
How much would field position matter then?
Huge. And Niner kicking game is pretty good. I know a lot of people that are thinking it's going to come down to an Akers field goal, and that's what I think actually. Late game field goal. This is a 3-point game. I'd be stunned if either team were to march up and down the field easily.
3-point.
Especially given the conditions, because it's raining in the Bay Area this week, and so you're going to get a little soggy field, a quagmire if you want to head to the thesaurus.
Okay, so we've talked about field position. We've talked about blitz packages, who to pick up, where to place guys. What is absolutely positively the one thing that you think this game comes down to?
Who gets more defensive pressure on the opposing quarterback? Can the Giants? The Giants have a terrific front four. Everybody can rush the passer. If they can get to Alex Smith, then that becomes important. And can the Niners get pressure on Eli and also do it without being forced to blitz? To me, that's the game right there. If the Niners can run the ball and they don't have to have Alex throw it, then they're going to be in the driver's seat. And that's kind of what we saw in the last game. Long drives. Both teams had long drives. But I think, can you impose your will on the other guy and take him out of what he wants to do? Because the Giants want to throw, Niners want to run.